back. I just want to talk about something right quick, man, that I wasn't going to touch on, but people asked my opinion, so I decided I'm going to share it with the family. Because I noticed that some of us are still, I don't want to say confused about this topic. We still seem like we're confused about this topic. As far as religion goes, and Christianity in particular. People ask me about religion, but I don't know too many Nubian people who practice other religions. Like, the majority of us are Christians. And we can get into Islam and all of the other ones too, because they all need work, need to be reevaluated. As far as I'm concerned, need to be abandoned completely. If you're seeking truth, there are things to be learned and gained from these texts, from the books. If you get to the real meat of it, to the real message behind the words, if you can get past the symbolism and the allegory of all these books, you can get some science. You know, if you really know what you're reading when you see the Helios, Biblios, if you know what that means, then it's different, you know what I'm saying? And when you're just thinking you're reading a holy Bible and you're starting to crack it, you're trying to crack the code. And that's what you're really supposed to be doing, not just blindly following anything. But that's not the question, because I'm not even talking to people who are religious right now. If you're Christian or whatever you are, then we'll talk on another tape, because I'm going to probably go into this a little bit more than I had planned on, just because it still needs to be talked about. Until this is no longer an issue, and we're going to need to be working it out. We need to be talking about, discussing it. Let me find a comment that sparked this for me, really. This is what made me want to address this in the first place. Okay, here we go. I'm not going to call out the brother who made the comment, but he said, there's no difference between quoting Jesus and quoting Egyptian gods. It's all mythology. Personally, I would not discourage those black women from believing in Jesus, because it's their right. And if it causes them to become better human beings as a result, then I'm in favor of it. And I've seen some people who agree with that. So that's why I say, okay, this must be something that a lot of us think collectively. I know when I see one comment, that could very well be the idea or feeling of thousands of people or more. So that's my thing right there, family. Exactly what he said. If it causes them to be better people, does it? Because that's what I responded to the brother. Like, I had to jump into that. That it doesn't make them better human beings. That's what my argument is. It makes them weak. I say anytime that we are conquered and exploited, anytime that we were conquered and exploited by the beast, Christianity was at the heart of it. It's like M1 said. The white man came to Africa with rifles and Bibles. Rifles and Bibles. The rifle was just as much, the Bible was as just as much a weapon as the rifle was. They came together. You can't separate the two. See, this is what I'm saying as a historian. How can we say that this made us better people? Historically, this has never made us better people. The missionary came in right before the troops. You know, smallpox, swords, guns, Christianity. All of these were weapons used by the Europeans against indigenous people. Go name a place that they didn't do it. Christ offer. The offer of Christ. Bearing Christ. This man's name means bearing Christ. He came to bring Christianity. They brought us here on a slave ship called Jesus. Go back and watch Bury Me at Wounded Knee. I had to go watch it again because I had mentioned it to the sister who asked me a question about religion. Bury me at Wounded Knee to show you how they forced the Native Americans to take Christianity. They had to take Christian names out of a little Christian book of names. Had a book of names, Christian names, and they had to pick names out of there. In school, the teacher wouldn't even acknowledge you unless you took one of those names. Go watch the movie. This was not a choice that they made in order to become better people. We were forced to accept this. And in accepting it, we became docile and weak and submissive. See, that's just a historical point, but you can't even separate the psychological mind fuck that went along with it. Like, why did we become docile and weak and submissive? Because we were taught that God looked like the person who had the whip in their hand or the gun that pointed at us. And they was able to teach us that this was their divine right to conquer us. That they were the chosen people of this planet, and everything that was happening was some prophecy, and this was supposed to be. They come on, family. They did it historically. Every time they wanted to put their religion on the people, they had to mix in parts of their culture with it. Go watch Bury Me at Wounded Knee. You'll hear the white boys, you'll hear the Native Americans explaining Christianity in their tongue, though, in a way that they could relate to it. There's another path, a secret path that you can only find if you accept Jesus. And they put it in a form that the Native Americans could easily digest, something very similar to what they already believed. But all this did was made them wait for their pie in the sky. You know, they sweet by and by when you die, all these great things that you can have, while the European come in and swoop up and rob you of all your resources. You could have been living in paradise. You had everything you needed. It was heaven on earth right there. The cracker recognized that, gave you a fake paradise, and while you waiting for that, he just living fat off your land and your resources, your gold, your diamonds, everything. And you think that's better? You saying religion is better than our pristine spirituality that we had before they got here? Is that what y'all are saying? That the system we got now is better than the system we had before? You can't separate one part of it from the other, because Christianity came along with the rest of the system. Christianity is part of racism, white supremacy. How can you separate the two when they teach you that your God, your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is other than you? You know y'all ain't talking about no people with no black Jesus. You know them women ain't no black Jesus shit. Black women will argue you up and down about they cracker Jesus. They love they white Jesus. And even if you was being taught that he's black, when somebody say the words Jesus Christ and you close your eyes, you gonna automatically have that bullshit image in your head. You can't even say a black Jesus and be right and exact. There's no such thing. That's like saying a black Martin Luther King. Either he Martin Luther King or he not. Is there such thing as a white Martin Luther King? So the fact that we have to say a black Jesus lets you know we don't know what we're talking about. You shouldn't have to. You just say Jesus and everybody should know he black. Just like when you say Martin Luther King, we don't have to say which one. Which one you believe in. If there's only one, a real one, if he was a real person, then we don't have the luxury of deciding what type you're going to be. But we already know that the psychological subconscious image that we have in our brain is of that white boy. Passion of the Christ Jesus. Maybe your image of him is lighter and whiter than that. So this is a sick, like, how can we not say that that's a fucked up condition to be in as a black people believing that your savior is somebody other than you? Does that not make you susceptible to everything they do to you, boss man, massa? Won't you be more susceptible to take orders, be obedient, turn the other cheek, like I said for the sister? But for who? It don't teach you to turn the other cheek for your brother and your sister. Only for people who resemble Jesus and God and bear that image. You submit to them unconsciously because because they fit the description of who you serve and worship and love. I just had a sister arguing with me about my Jesus. Why you gotta talk about my Jesus? When grown people don't see the difference between Santa Claus and Jesus Christ, but my 5-year-old son could see it, he'd say exact. When I gave that analogy to him, he couldn't do nothing but laugh. Because I didn't teach him to believe in Santa Claus, and I didn't teach him to believe in no fairy tales. But when I gave him and his sister the analogy, they both laughed. It made perfect sense to them. One, you can't separate one fairy tale from another. And either we going to be dealing with reality or we not. And if you're in a setup of people with a mind frame where they'll accept fairy tales as truth, then they'll accept anything. So how can your argument be to just let them have it all? Why are you even messing with them? Just let them have their white Jesus and their inferiority complex and be slaves and continue to be exploited by people, who have put themselves in that position of power. Made you think that they are there by divine right, just like the Pope will let you think he's the vicar of Christ. That's all right for millions of black people to be looking up to him as he's the vicar of Christ. A white boy, that's okay. For our self-image, that's all right for me to teach my son that I'm not important. Jesus is this white boy right here. That's who saves you. This is who you should be looking up to. Not me, son. I ain't nothing. I couldn't do none of this without Jesus. I couldn't have put this food on your table, and clothes on your back. That make him better. That makes him a better man. This makes us better people. I just want us to think about that, family. I think that's kind of a sad statement. Like, when you know the effects it has had on us as a people. And, and religion as a whole. And you can argue. I already hear some people now talking about Malcolm. And my own family used to be on drugs and drink and party. And they turned their life around supposedly for Jesus. And ended up with what? Addicted to coffee and some smoking cigarettes. It's a lot of legal things you can do that'll take you out just as fast as all the things that they thought they were delivered from. So did that make them better people? I don't know, man. I really think my mom probably would have been a cooler person if she would have kept smoking weed. I don't see that as a blessing. She might. But that's a matter of perception. See, I can't say that Malcolm ended up better just because he ended up with a new set of rules and regulations, being under another form of control. He didn't become a free man. Elijah Muhammad didn't set him free. He didn't become free till after he broke away from that. So they were rejecting him, tried to silence him. So it could have came a time when he might have rejected a lot more of the teachings or a lot of other things that he was on as he became himself and stopped quoting, well, Elijah Muhammad said, Prophet Elijah Muhammad said, well, according to Elijah Muhammad, I don't believe that makes you a better man because you can quote your teacher. So I don't, you can argue what you want. I don't believe no religion makes you a better person. Not religion. Information can, knowledge can, and I believe the knowledge that Malcolm probably got made him better. Not the religion of Islam. No, I don't believe that. Because I know for a fact that it's Muslims on crack right now. So Islam doesn't do it. It has to be something else. I hope that didn't just mess up my thing. It has to be something in you. I don't really have any respect for people who don't do things because they don't believe in it. You don't eat pork because Allah said. That means you would eat it if He said you could. So you don't really care about your health. You just care about pleasing Allah. You're afraid of some punishment or retribution or hell. That's another thing about Christians. Christians can read right. Their Bible will tell them not to do it, and they'll do it anyway. And but there's some Muslims who do that too. So some people like that who don't even follow their own religion. And most of these people who Sarnetta was talking to on that video don't really follow that bullshit. Come on, man. Got a damn running around talking about he gonna get his life together one day. That's a hell I couldn't even imagine living in. If you already, your lifestyle already crazy, and then you confused about it, you don't know if you sinning, you finna go to hell at any moment. What if Jesus come back while you got a dick in your ass? You don't have time to get your shit together right then. But that's what I'm saying, this type of confused, crazy state we be in. How could you listen to them sad, crazy women talking nonsense and pretend like that makes us better people? I'm ashamed, because that's my people. Like, I can hear my mama and somebody else, a lot of family members saying the same retarded shit, trying to defend that shit, man. It don't make no sense whatsoever. I don't see how you can stand on fairy tales and be a better person than you are if you're standing on truth, facts, reality. So that's just my question to you all, family. Does it make it better? Did it make the Native Americans better? Did Christianity make them better people? Did it make the people in Africa better people? Did it make us better people when we were brought over here and they beat Christian names into us and Christian doctrine, mixed it in with a little bit of our culture so we would accept it? Did we become better for that? That's what I'm saying. What are y'all talking about? As individuals, some people become better? I don't know any. Show me one. You said it was mythology. Even if you're going to compare it to Egyptology, fine. I don't believe in no type of religion. Egyptology shouldn't be a religion to you. So if you own that, then it's right. You're the same way. But let's say I was running around quoting Egyptian gods, and I decided I wanted to be like one of them and imitate them. Now, first of all, I could prove the existence of one of them. I might be able to find their remains and some actual work that they accomplished, some things that they did and left behind, so that I can study it and actually imitate that and live that way. I don't have to rely on the translations and the interpretations of men written hundreds of years ago about somebody who may or may not exist. No proof, no evidence whatsoever. You cannot compare those two things. If I decided to live and model my life after Jesus Christ, I have nothing to go by except what these people said about him. I don't have to do that about Egyptians, Egyptian gods, because the Egyptian gods are this people. Like, I don't know the difference. Imhotep is a god and a person. So if I decided to worship him, then I got a whole lot more to stand on than I would if I decided to worship Jesus. So let's not compare our history, our story, to their mythology. Like, I don't know, how can we do that? We got actual proof of our greatness. It's not hearsay. Okay? And it's not plagiarized either. You won't find with a culture that we stole these things from. You might find a culture, you might find a place that we migrated from and brought these things with us. But you don't find that in Christianity. You find a bunch of stories in every culture that are similar. Watered down version of your original science. And if you don't want that, that's fine. But you can't tell me it's not better to have the original than it is to have a copy. a watered down Xerox copy I can hardly read instead of the crisp, clean, freshly typed out manuscript. So that's it, family. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Should we just let them have their Jesus? What's the big deal? Let them have their Santa Claus. What's the big deal in that? Why don't we just let all our kids have Santa Claus? If you feel that way, then you probably feel like, what's wrong with Santa Claus? So hey, if you in the fairy tales, you in the fairy tales. But for those of us who enter reality, we don't teach our children fairy tales of any kind. I don't. If you do, that's on you, but that's all I'm saying. I don't see the difference. One lie is just as bad as another. And it just sets you up for other lies. Somebody can continue to lie and deceive and trick you and have you believe in anything. It's time to know. Yeah, I forgot something. Because not only will a Christian read something, or anybody, Muslim or Christian, can read something in their own holy book and completely ignore it as far as your diet is concerned. As we health hop, let's see how this correlates to health hop. I have also been told and heard throughout my life that you can eat whatever you want as long as you prayed for it. This is part of Christians' belief system, whether they even say that in the Bible or not. They might have specific instructions on what they should and should not eat, but somewhere along the way they done been taught that they can just pray over anything and eat it. See, that's the type of logic that they killed my grandmother, and it got my mother and all her sisters who are believers in bad health at this very moment, because they didn't have enough sense to actually follow the Bible and eat what it told you to eat. They believers. See what I'm talking about? So that type of thinking, that type of logic don't make you a better person. If it don't make your health better, if it don't make your financial situation better, it don't make your family stronger, it don't make, what does it do for you? It don't make you more spiritual. It doesn't make you more in tune with nature. What does it offer? So I just wanted to make sure I say that, because that's very important from a health pop standpoint, that you can totally neglect and abandon yourself that God gave you, because you believe in that you can just pray, say a few words over some poison, and now it's automatically safe to eat. That's real for me, family. Like I say, I done lost people due to that logic. So you tell me how that's better. All right, wake up. Be healthy. Peace.